Spring may be just one day away, but winter is hanging on just a little bit longer as we are looking at some freezing cold temperatures as we head into the upcoming work week, with morning lows for Monday and Tuesday dropping down into the upper 20s to lower 30s as we get the day started. So do prepare for some pretty cold mornings as we head into the upcoming work week. Likely we'll need to get those heavy coats and jackets out again. On your frost and freeze forecast, kind of breaking this down a little bit more, we're going for an overnight low of 32 degrees for Monday morning, which would put us right at that kind of freeze mark. Does look like the possibility for some frost to develop come tomorrow morning. And then Tuesday will drop down to a low of 30, which puts us in that light freeze category. Almost some spots could get into a hard freeze if they do dip into the upper 20s, but I think things are drying up too much that we might not have too much frost to deal with, but something to keep in mind. But after that, things do begin to moderate a little bit as we'll start to warm up as the week moves on. But really tomorrow and Tuesday morning is the chance for some really cold temperatures. As for how does this kind of line up with our normal season for the end of the year freezes, well, you can see, as I mentioned, spring officially begins tomorrow afternoon around 5:24, but our average last frost here in the Midlands is somewhere around March 23rd. You can get it as late as April 24th. That's our record set back about 40 years ago. So this is a pretty easy or typical time to see that last freeze of the season. I think that's what's going to happen, but we still could maybe get one more frost with some temperatures down into those mid to upper 30s as we push into the first part of April. That's why we tell you to hold off planting really until after Easter. Outside right now, still on the chilly side as temperatures have just continued to hold pretty much in the 40s all mornings, even though we've had a good deal of sunshine already. So 46 degrees for Columbia, Camden. We got 43 degrees for us in Winsboro. It's 45 for us in Lexington. Still in the 30s, though, out towards Newberry, and 37 degrees for us in Chester to get this Sunday morning start. We had some clouds yesterday. Those have now finally moved out with the front pushing out farther into the Atlantic. So clear skies now for all of the Carolinas down into Georgia. That's just going to lead to plenty of sunshine across the region today. So if you are walking the dog, no issues as far as the cloud cover. Won't have to wipe any paws, but you do see you might want to pack that jacket as things are still going to be on the cooler side today, struggling to get into those low to mid 50s for an afternoon high around 4 or 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon. So what we have is some cool conditions. High pressure from the north out of Canada is dropping down, giving us that shot of some cooler temperatures, which is why we only make it into the mid 50s today. And then that high just continues to sit over top the eastern half of the country, blanketing us in these cooler temperatures. So again, tomorrow, just mid 50s for an afternoon high as we get the work week started. By Tuesday, that high starts to weaken a little bit. That cold air kind of starts to dissipate. Still, though, going to be below average, but at least we make it back into the low 60s for an afternoon high. So on your first alert 10-day forecast, we keep a couple more cool afternoons with highs in the 50s. Those overnight lows down into the 30s, but things do begin to warm up and feel a little bit more like spring as the week goes on. So 63 Tuesday, 72 by Wednesday, and then we got 80s for your Thursday and Friday. Expecting dry weather all the way through much of the work week. Rain does look to try the return, especially Saturday morning, but temperatures staying quite warm in those mid to upper 70s next weekend.